So here we are, Sunday morning. I thought I'd just get another video in because doing a lot of research over the last couple of days, looking at the figures that we have here at the War Games Holiday Centre, painted by a variety of talented gentlemen and possibly ladies, for all I know. But I just thought I'd give it another slow motion, if you will, for the delectation of the audience, just to look at the figures that we have available. So there are a number of manufacturers here, lots of first call. See, the majority of this battalion here at the front is the first call, with the favourite of the right shoulder shift. Their casualty packs. We also have a number of elite miniature figures, mostly on our Confederate forces. These are the camps done by David Balfour, lots of scatter, etc. A lot of the tents were brought down by Paul Morris, another prolific figure painter. Paul's kind enough to bring some of his Confederate artillery for us to use. I mean, principally because they're lovely looking figures. He's got a lot of Redoubt Enterprise figures, which are great from the perspective they've all got separate heads. So you can elect to have whatever headdress you want with the uniform. So you know, as with the early war, there's a lot of choice of the various uniforms. The headgear is they mix and match quite well. So I'd have a look at the Redoubt Enterprise website, which is on the Grubby Tanks site, where it's associated with Andy Gray. And they are lovely, really, really nice castings. All the first corps figures are really good. There are some manufacturers I'm a little bit unsure of, for instance these chaps here firing. A little bit slimmer than Connoisseur or Hinchliffe. Some more of those at the back here. So the small dice are for casualties, etc. So the lads have really push the boat out with using a lot of these war bases dice holders with little labels to indicate what regiment it is, which brigade it belongs to, which division, etc. And these are the chaps from the northwest of England, Preston, Blackpool, as far down as Stafford and Stoke. Majority of them are from Blackpool and the Preston area. Because obviously the Battle of Shiloh, there's a bit of emphasis on the actual camps, etc. And David's really, as I said, pushed the boat out here. He's got camps, clutter, fireplaces, or stone camp fires, along with the tents, etc. Paul brought, as I said, Paul Morris brought a load of tents as well. And forgive me, Paul, I don't know if you brought any scatter terrain for the camps. I didn't see that. All I saw was the box with the tents on it. I must ask Paul when he's down, when they come in from breakfast. A little bit wobbly because it's at arm's length on my selfie stick. For me, it's the only acceptable use of a selfie stick. So the rules are Picketts Charge. I think I've mentioned that in previous videos. And with it being Picketts Charge, there's a semblance of general d'armée about it, which is not a bad thing at all. I think that's complementary. So if you've played General d'Armée, you'll fall right in with the mechanic. However, there's a lot of thematic aspects to the rules which work really well for this period. You know, the infantry side of it, with obviously the American Civil War predominantly being infantry fought engagements, works extremely well. So much so it's galvanised me to do more of these weekends next year. Put them into our diary. Oops, wobbly. Sorry about this, guys. Coming around the end of the table here at arm's length. So there's a bit of clutter, as you can see. Quick reference sheets and orbats, which give the stats for the various brigades and regiments, what armaments they have. The KPOC denotes fire discipline loss. There's some of the elite miniature Confederates I was talking about with the right shoulder shift. And more of the war bases. This one's a little bit bigger for war bases with the dice holders. Great idea for casualties, etc. I'm going to be using some of the war bases circular casualty markers with only because I like the aspect, the aesthetic of it. I'm going to be putting casualty figures on it. Chris Cornwall indicated to me that there's a lot of resin scatter, which would be quite appropriate for this period, with muskets and piles of knapsacks and shoulder blankets. And there's some of the redoubt figures I was talking about. So these little fellas here, well, it's a mix actually. I think these are the Wheat's Tigers, and they are first corps, not redoubt as I thought. My apologies. I want to get some of the redoubt artillery, which unfortunately are limbered at this stage, so you'll see in the backs of them. But these aren't. These are first corps, and these chaps at the back here are the redoubt ones, and they are just superb. They're lovely, clean castings. They fit right in with the scale of Perry and Foundry, so they're a good mix. Their infantry are excellent, again, because of the head swaps. And then we've got more of the first corps kit, which is, again, exceptionally good. I've not got much Perry stuff. I've got a lot of Perry stuff to paint, which I need to get onto. I'll certainly be doing a lot more play testing with the rules, and perhaps run some battle reports. And here's some more of the redoubt chaps. Painted by Paul Morris. They are really quite nice. Good castings for the guns, etc. I'll come round to these lads on the back table. Give you a panorama of the table itself. So come back here and give you a bit more of the length of the table. I had to stack that up, unfortunately, because they had to use other tables, so I've used one of the cupboards to bolster the end of the table. That doesn't normally happen. Normally I've got enough tables to do the whole length. But sometimes you've got to work with the hotel, make it all work well. So some of the state flags don't obviously reflect the units that are actually being used. Previously, we used to use a lot of Fire and Fury, regimental and brigade. I used to use a combination of regimental for the weaponry and ranges and the command structure, but use them as brigades. So, and a lot of our games were the Eastern Theatre. So a lot of Gettysburg aspect to it. So let me just come back here. So this is a good mix of the Elite Miniatures. I'm not sure what's going on with the Elite Miniatures website. I couldn't actually get to see any of the figures, so I was going to drop Pete Morby a line just to ask him how we get to see the figures available. And then we've got some of the first core again. And first core have got a great range of figures available for this. Superb. I think the flags are all GMB apart from the hand painted. I am looking at flags of war at the moment because they've got an excellent range of flags, and I bought a lot of their flags for the Renaissance period. Great quality paper, good quality ink, which is what you want, a good crisp, clean look to the flags, unless of course it's battle damaged, and then you get what you buy. So there's some Perrys, little command stand I put together. And the fella at the back is the plastic figure. The two front ones are the metal ones. I was surprised, the plastic ones are quite big. Not huge, you know, it's not hugely out of place, but they are a little bit bigger. But they still work very well, they paint up very well, I think. There's some more. I think these are first core. Certainly these chaps are first core. These chaps here. We've got Shiloh Church, more of the camps, as I was saying earlier. David really knocks the boat out with, pushes the boat out. Knocks the boat out. Where'd that come from? This was painted by Chris, which I hadn't realised. Chris Cornwall did this many, many years ago. And knowing Chris, probably donated it to the War Games Holiday Centre. A lovely, characterful command stand. More of the camp. David and Paul at their best. David did got a model of Shiloh Church, which is very nice. Again, you need it to be thematic for the battles, which I like. And there's some more the battle lines. I think there's going to be a bit of a thrust on the eastern end of the battlefield because there's a lot of Confederates piling up there, and there's not too many Union, unless the Union managed to get their reserve brigades in over that big hill at the back here. So you can see there are still some blinds there which will hold up to 2 regiments. We can see the little markers on the tops of this bivouac. They did have two regiments in each. And then there are still some on the back table there, which are coming through. But at the moment, you've got this line about to hold off this lot. So let me give it an indication. This is Texas regiments by the look of it, Alabama. What brigade is that? We always put them upside down. This is Brigade, Jackson's brigade, 2nd Army Corps, 2nd Division, 3rd Brigade. And it's supported by the Reserve Corps, 3rd Brigade, Statham. And what else have we got here? Chalmers. So we've got the 2nd Army Corps, 2nd Division here. There's a lot of Tennessee boys, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas. And then we're over here holding them off. We've got this little lot here. So these are Miller's Brigade. And Peabody's managed to rally and come back a little bit. So we've got a number of these holding on or awaiting the onslaught. And then we've got Stuart here. I'll see if I can do a video during the game, because toward the end of the day it gets a bit busy. But essentially I'll try and do an update to see where the attack comes in, and I'll fill you all in there. Thanks for looking.